Hi.
Yes, sir. Mr. James Wamathai. Karibu sana. How are you?
Very good. How are you doing?
Very good. Long time, sir.
Long time no see.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Ride Free with George. Today we have James Wamathai, and if you're on the digital space, you definitely know him. You probably follow him on Twitter as well. Interesting story about how I met James. And James is actually a digital influencer, digital marketer, writer. He's also founder of BAKE, which is Bloggers Association of Kenya. Yes, BAKE. So, interesting story about how I met him is in 2011 when I was working for Footprints Press. We sent him a copy of Life Journey Seeking Destiny to review, and he actually did an excellent job.
I mean, I can't believe how long ago that is.
Exactly.
It's like 9 years ago.
We met on Twitter, and this is the first time that we are actually physically meeting. So thank you very much, sir, for your time. Yes. Yes, and actually a little bit about Footprints Press for all those who don't know. Footprints did Jeff Koinange's through My African Lens. Yes, very interesting book, and they've also done the big coffee table books, Life Journey Seeking Destiny, Life Journey Scaling Heights, and many more. Even they have a book on Nairobi. Excellent. So a huge acknowledgement to Susan Wahumu Githuku, Natalie Githuku. We have Lucy Mwangi, Sala Nyongesa. We have Lilian Nandwa. All great people, great team that I worked with. So, Mr. Wamathai, asante sana for giving us your time.
No, karibu. I'm really happy to be here. I've been seeing the videos, and it's an honor to be included in this in this series.
Yes, sir. Nimeshukuru pia sana. Now we'll talk about, way back in the day, KOT was totally different. And you were amongst the pioneers, especially in terms of influencers on the digital space, when it was quite a new thing. We just want to find out how did you manage to get such a huge following? How did you become an expert on the digital platform?
I think for me, this digital space, I came by it accidentally. I had been a writer for quite a while, and then I was looking for a space to share my work. Back then I was only writing poetry and short stories. Now I first started on Facebook, and then funny story, I got kicked out of Facebook. So at the time, the only blogger that I knew was a gentleman called James Mbugua, and I was telling him how I've been trying to do this thing, and then now I've been kicked out of Facebook, and even if I create another account, I'll start from zero because I created a whole fan base. He just told me, you forget about Facebook. A blog is better. You'll reach more people, and then it won't be in a closed space like that won't give you that much freedom. Yes, so I started my blog, Wamathai. At the time I started, my first blog was on Blogspot, so wamathai.blogspot.com. Now, I quickly realized, fine, I have a blog, but then I need to get more people. So I started using a page. I said also a Facebook page, a Facebook account, another one that I created, and then it's around that time that I discovered Twitter. So basically, the reason why I was saying it's an accident was because as I was building my brand, I discovered these social media platforms, and then I used them first for myself, and then later Later, I created a digital marketing company. I was doing it for other people, and then also I became an influencer because obviously my brand kept growing. Wamathai became big. I started having events, and then I also started doing hapakenya.com. So there was all these like opportunities for companies to be able to like work work with me either directly as Wamathai, or through my brands wamathai.com or hapakenya. Yeah, so basically that's it. Yeah.
Now let's touch a little bit about let's touch on the money aspect of it. I'm sure when you first started out, or when companies in Kenya started using social media as a platform, as a serious platform for advertisement, the money wasn't that great. How much are companies investing, and how much are digital influencers making? I mean, you can just give me a rough figure. You can give us a rough figure, or yeah.
I think in my opinion, we still companies, yes, are investing way more money now, in digital in general. But the money that flows to influencers and bloggers, in my opinion, is still is still very low. It is possible, for instance, if you have regular gigs, it is possible, for instance, to make in my estimation, between 50 to around even 300,000, on a very good month. But there's a disclaimer. The way this works, you're like an entrepreneur, so work might come. You may work with, in that 1 month, let's say that you're making 300,000. You're working with a lot of brands, and so you make that money. But there are months that you don't get business, and obviously there are months that you get like the lowest. Maybe you only have one client. Back to investment by companies. Yes, I think it's important to note that yes, companies are investing more, but I think the budgets, as far as marketing budgets is concerned, I think the share for influencers, in my opinion, I think it could be more. And also for bloggers specifically, I would love to see a situation where there's more investment in them, especially around content marketing. Brands haven't really, in my opinion, fully invested in content marketing, especially online. You'll see, for instance, some brands paying millions of shillings to have something similar, like in the paper. But for instance, and I think the reach, in my opinion, could be more if, for instance, they invested in that money, which is a lot for online. If they invested, let's say, in 10 blogs, for instance. And then the beauty of online, and what I like about the online space, especially the content side, is that this content is forever. It can be read by anyone anywhere. And so for me, I'm like, it is an important marketing tool that I feel that more and more businesses and brands in Kenya should be supporting.
Is there a get rich quick, but a get rich quick formula of being a digital influencer? Is there such a thing?
So like 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 being an influencer, as in it's it's you have to. I mean, obviously the first thing is that, I mean, your brand survives on content. So you have to create content, and then also and then this is something that you can decide later. But also it would be nice if you can start thinking about the topic, the topic areas and the areas that you're strong at, so that you create a lot of create a lot of content around that. In my opinion, I think get rich quick is possible, but I think you need to have the right. You need to have the right. What is it called? You need to have the right tools, and that's what I was mentioning. That at least you need to be prepared for someone to be able to invest in you. So some people, for instance, an influencer called Aziad, she was discovered on TikTok, and then now she's big, she's making money. A month ago, not even a month, like when this year was starting, she was not known. But once she was known, she started making money. And I remember she said in her interview, the reason why she was ready, she was investable, as in she was in a way that someone could plug in and they could start working with her, was because she even had a manager. You get? So actually, if it's possible, that's also something else. Actually, if it's possible, just get an agency or a manager to be able to do some of these things for you.
Yeah. And it's quite interesting that you mentioned Aziad. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's that the whole bullying. I don't know. That was, for me, from my perspective, it was the catalyst that I think propelled her.
Yeah.
When Kenyans now came to I guess, protect her and rally behind her.
Yeah.
It was a small bullying episode. And now that we are talking about that, bullying, because I don't remember bullying way back. I mean, KOT would mention, if I remember that thing with CNN, someone tells CNN, Kenyans would rally behind Kenyan brands or the country or other Kenyans. But now bullying is a bit on the rise. What is the reason for that?
So cyberbullying is obviously a big problem in Kenya. I disagree when you say that it started recently. It was always there. The numbers, though, back then, the numbers were few, and so the likelihood of it, the numbers online, of Kenyans online were few. So the probability of it happening, was a bit low. Now we have a lot more people online, so the probability is high. Now, if you check the worldwide trends, we live in a very patriarchal world, and you will find that the people who suffer the most from cyberbullying is obviously women. Aziad, went through it. There was that lady called Brenda, one of the first people to recover from coronavirus. She was even, I remember she was, her nudes were shared. I remember Yvonne Okwara talked about something on TV. People didn't agree with it, but then they started attacking her person. They didn't attack her ideas, they attacked her person. But if you look at the other side, men say like a lot of, sometimes, very stupid things, but they don't get the same treatment. You won't see nude pictures of a man because he has said something stupid. That will never happen. Those kind of personal attacks. So I think, in my opinion, we need we need to bolster the existing law that covers cyberbullying, or have, go the South Africa way and do a whole, harassment law that covers both offline and online. Because sometimes, because I think sometimes we tell ourselves that, online is like this other space where all these things are happening. But these are real people who are doing these things. So for me to be able to like cover all our bases, I think it would be best if we had a proper harassment law that covers both offline and online. Because if you think about it, do we have a law, for instance, that if someone starts stalking me, which I think is a form of harassment, like which law offline, which law would be used? So if someone started cyber stalking me and harassing me, you get what I mean? Like I think it is important. I think it is important that we use that to be able to protect to protect everyone, but most importantly vulnerable groups, including women and children, and also LGBTIQ. Yeah.
Now we're talking about digital earning. Yes. I wanted to save this question for last, but the government has come up with a proposal to tax people who are earning off of digital platforms.
Yes.
I want you to school us on what's going on.
They're going after a lot of businesses that that conduct their business online. Sorry, that include digital taxis. Like this one. Include it also includes tickets like MOOC. It includes people who are selling things online, etc. So they are targeting them with two things. So one of them is it's like an income tax. So it's basically 1.5% of the revenue will go to KRA, and then also there's also going to be 14% VAT. So this means that for me, I think that the 1.5 income tax is like paying taxes. It's like paying advance tax. So that one is will not have a lot of implications, because they would have at the end of the year, that tax they pay on that revenue, they'll be able to offset against the tax they'll pay. So for me, I'm not really worried about that. The one I'm worried about is the 14% VAT. So that will cause things first, it will cause things to go up. In my opinion, I think that we didn't have a proper public participation, so that the public can weigh in, especially those small businesses can weigh in on this particular tax. And I think that there needs to be a lot of engagement by KRA and hopefully the Ministry of Trade, so that they really try to understand this digital economy and this space where people are making money, and try and see how they can be able to support it better and not tax it first. Because in my opinion, I think all the efforts around this space has been to tax it and not support it.
It was wonderful hosting you. We appreciate you. And the reason why it's called Ride Free with George is because at the end of this, since you've given us your time and and just a whole wealth of information, we will pick you up or anyone of your choice and drop you off at a destination of your choice within Nairobi.
Nice.
So tumeshukuru sana Mr. James Wamathai, keep on doing what you do. Na thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for having me. I had so much fun, and I think these conversations are important. And hopefully, I can come back again. Thank you again.
Fantastic. Thank you.